How's it going, everyone? It's Ben Foggins, Media Corner, back again with a brand new video for today. Welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. This time for this new episode for this series is going to be my review on the 2024 romantic crime thriller, and that is Love Lies Bleeding. Now, this is directed by Rose Glass, who also wrote this movie along with another screenwriter, and it tells a story where we follow this gym manager named Lou, played by Kristen Stewart, and she meets up with this female bodybuilder named Jackie, played by Katy O'Brien, and she's heading out to Las Vegas to pursue her dream, in which her dream is that she wants to compete in this bodybuilding competition, and these two characters instantly fall in love with each other, but their love soon leads to violence as they are put deep into the web of Lou's criminal family. So that's pretty much the story of Love Lies Bleeding. Now, I was really excited for this movie since this was a new A24 movie, and as I mentioned before, this was directed by Rose Glass, and she made a film with A24 already way back in 2020, which was the really good horror film of that year known as Say Mod. And you guys may know I tend to like any A24 horror film myself, despite that they can be very divisive amongst critics and audiences. But in this case, this is a totally different film that she was making here, because this is not a horror film, because this is a romantic crime thriller. And I was surprised with the stars who were in this movie, namely in this film you namely got Kristen Stewart, Katy O'Brien, Ed Harris, and Dave Franco, amongst other people. And I was really intrigued to see what they were going to do with this new A24 film, along with Rose Glass, who was directing this movie. And this film came out back in March of this year, along with the new Ghostbusters movie in the US. But we didn't get this film until recently, and all that, along with The Fall Guy. And I just recently checked out this movie today, and I just got back from seeing this film, and I saw this with a fair amount of people in the screen that I was in. And after watching this whole movie here, I can definitely tell you guys that I had a blast with Love Lies Bleeding. This was definitely another terrific A24 film here, and I can also say as well, it's definitely another great work from Rose Glass since Say Mod here. First off, Kristen Stewart was great in the movie as the lead role, and this is definitely another great role she has given in her career here, alongside some other movies that she's given some really good performances in, namely Personal Shopper and Spencer, which is easily my favorite of her movies, and she was nominated for an Oscar for that movie. And she's also given some other really good performances in other movies, well, excluding that franchise that we all know her in, that turned out to be pretty successful, even though they get a lot of hate from critics. And Katy O'Brien, I thought, was also great in the movie as well. And the relationship between these two leads, I thought, was generally strong. And I did find myself really digging their loving relationship throughout the entire film here. And Ed Harris was great in the movie as the villain. And I surprisingly found his character pretty interesting, along with some other characters in this movie here. And everyone else were all great for their performances as well. And the direction by Rose Glass was really beautiful, yet well stylized for a movie like this, in terms of its story, which the storytelling for the film I thought was really deep, where it's basically about falling in love with someone, and you do learn about that specific person, and it does kind of end up not a bit too good, in which I found that well executed here. And it's also really well paced as well, since the film is only on for 104 minutes. Like, the first two acts was well paced, where it does get to connect more into the relationship between these two leads, and the movie does change along the way here, when it gets really more intense, when we get to see some really intense, like, dark moments in the film. Like, there are times where we see these two girls do drugs, like they take steroids and stuff, and the film does get a bit violent as well. Like, those moments were just genuinely thrilling, but yeah, pretty dark as well. Especially at the last act, where it gets really more violent in terms of its action. And the ending of the film was really unpredictable, that I didn't really see coming, and all of that. Although, for what happened towards the end of the film, did leave me questioning and all that, because when it occurred on screen, I was just like, okay, so what just happened? I was like, is this real or not? Like, it was just like that for me when I first saw it, when it appeared on the screen and all that. But in the end, guys, Love Lies Bleeding, this is definitely another great work by Rose Glass. It's definitely her best in the same mod here. And if you're a fan of A24 or like these kind of movies, or if you're a fan of like any of the stars like Kristen Stewart or Katy O'Brien, this is definitely one you don't want to miss out for yourself here. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Love Lies Bleeding. I'm going to give Love Lies Bleeding 4.5 out of 5. Truly another one of my favorites of this year, and like I said before, this is definitely Rose Glass's best since Say Mod here, and I cannot wait to see what else she would do in the future here as well. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching for my AKF first Saw review on Love Lies Bleeding, and let me know what you think of this movie if you have seen this already or if you just recently checked out this film. Did you have a blast with this, or was this not really a cup of tea? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and this has been Falcon's Media Corner signing off.